Mind Management, Not Time Management by David Kadavy. Introduction. Rethinking productivity from the inside out. What if the key to achieving more in life wasn't hidden in your schedule, but in your state of mind? In Mind Management, Not Time Management, author David Kadavy challenges one of our most ingrained beliefs: that time is the ultimate currency of productivity. We've all tried to squeeze more out of our hours: color-coded calendars, bullet journals, morning routines, and endless time management hacks. But somehow, the more we optimize, the more overwhelmed and depleted we become. Kadavy invites us to flip the script. The real secret to sustainable creativity and high performance, he argues, isn't time. It's how we manage our mental energy. The book begins with a story that illustrates this concept beautifully. A man seeking guidance for his lack of productivity is sent to live with a wise saint. Observing the saint's simple habit of cleaning dishes before bed and again in the morning, the man learns a deeper truth. The mind, like a dish, collects dust. If left unchecked, that buildup of worries, distractions, and mental clutter blocks us from thinking clearly or pursuing our goals. The answer, the saint explains, is to cleanse the mind regularly. Just as a clean dish is ready to use, a clear mind is ready to create. Kadavy takes this principle and expands it into a complete framework for working with, rather than against, the natural rhythms of your brain. He explores how to harness hidden mental patterns, tap into spontaneous creativity, and allow your most powerful ideas to surface during periods of rest, not hustle. This approach isn't about doing more, faster. It's about doing the right things at the right time, in the right state of mind. It's about matching your tasks to your mental energy, channeling your focus when it's sharp, and embracing idleness when it fosters insight. This book is structured around 6 key ideas that will guide you through this mental shift. Kadavy doesn't promise quick fixes. Instead, he offers a powerful alternative to the grind. A system that respects your cognitive rhythms, makes space for innovation, and redefines what it means to be productive in a chaotic, always-on world. This isn't just a change in your to-do list, it's a change in how you relate to time, creativity, and yourself. Let's begin. Chapter 1. From Time Control to Mind Flow. In today's fast-moving, creativity-driven world, managing your time is no longer the key to getting more done. Managing your mind is. The old industrial model of productivity, where more hours meant more output, doesn't apply to the modern, non-linear nature of creative work. Creativity doesn't respond to the clock. It responds to energy, clarity, and mental freedom. That's why the path to meaningful productivity begins not with organizing your calendar, but with understanding how your brain works best. The traditional obsession with time management can lead to diminishing returns. As you push yourself to extract value from every spare minute, you risk burnout, mental fatigue, and a decline in the quality of your ideas. Instead of helping you get ahead, this constant pressure can drain your ability to think clearly, respond creatively, or problem-solve effectively. It turns productivity into a grind, when what creative work really needs is space. Mind management flips that model by recognizing that not every hour in the day holds the same potential. Some moments are sharper, more inspired, or simply more aligned with your mental state. The key is to identify your peak creative windows and build your day around them, not the clock. By doing so, you protect your best mental energy for your most important work. You also make room for necessary rest and downtime, which aren't signs of laziness, but vital parts of the creative process. This approach doesn't just help you get more done, it helps you do the kind of work that actually matters. Chapter 2. Unlocking your creative sweet spot. To produce your best work, it's not enough to simply show up. You have to show up at the right time, in the right state of mind. This is the essence of finding your creative sweet spot, the unique window during which your mind is primed for deep, generative, and inspired thinking. Instead of trying to force creativity into rigid time blocks, the key is to uncover and protect the periods when your brain is naturally at its creative best. For many people, this window appears early in the day, when the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-criticism and inhibition, is still not fully awake. In this state, you're less likely to judge your ideas prematurely and more open to creative exploration. But this timing varies from person to person, so it's essential to experiment. Track your energy and focus throughout the day to discover when you're most naturally creative and begin to structure your work around that insight. Equally important is designing an environment that nurtures creativity instead of stifling it. This means eliminating distractions, setting up a workspace that signals focus, and using tools that minimize noise and interruptions. But creativity isn't just about when or where, it's also about how. Within your sweet spot, make room for both divergent thinking, where you explore new possibilities, and convergent thinking, where you shape and refine those ideas. Treat your creative time like a sacred zone. Protect it, prepare for it, and use it wisely. Over time, this small shift in how you approach your work can lead to dramatically better outcomes. Chapter 3. Navigating the 4 stages of creativity. Creativity often feels elusive, but it's far from random. It follows a recognizable rhythm, one that anyone can harness with the right awareness. Scientists describe creativity as the ability to generate ideas that are both novel and useful, and they've mapped its development into 4 key stages: preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification. The process begins with preparation, where you actively seek out information, explore ideas, and immerse yourself in the problem at hand. This stage requires deliberate effort and attention, laying the groundwork for what comes next. But instead of pushing for immediate results, the next step, incubation, asks you to step away. Here, your subconscious mind gets to work beneath the surface, processing what you've absorbed without your active control. This often happens during sleep, downtime, or moments of rest, making it crucial to allow for breaks and quiet space. Out of this stillness emerges illumination, the flash of insight that seems to arrive out of nowhere. These aha moments are the result of background mental processing finally connecting the dots. To make room for this spark, it's important to reduce stress and distractions, which can otherwise block your intuition. Finally comes verification, the phase where you test, refine, and apply the insight in practical ways. This might mean editing a draft, reworking a design, or running experiments. While these stages form a reliable structure, the path through them is rarely linear. You may circle back to preparation after verification, or find yourself incubating even while refining. Embracing this non-linear flow allows your creativity to unfold more naturally and fully, turning complex ideas into impactful results. Chapter 4. Aligning creative work with your mental state. Not all creative tasks are created equal, and neither are the mental states we bring to them. Every type of creative activity, from brainstorming to refining, requires a different kind of focus, energy, and mindset. Recognizing and respecting these differences can drastically improve your output and reduce unnecessary frustration. David Kadavy outlines 7 distinct mental states that support different phases of the creative process: prioritize, explore, research, generate, polish, administrate, and recharge. Each state corresponds to a specific kind of work and requires a unique mental setting to be most effective. In the prioritize state, you focus on planning and setting goals, a task that requires clarity and big-picture thinking. The explore state invites curiosity and open-mindedness, making it ideal for idea generation and gathering inspiration. When you enter the research state, your mind needs to be inquisitive and focused, allowing you to seek out and absorb targeted information. The generate state is where the first drafts come to life. It's about creating, not perfecting. This phase benefits from uninterrupted deep focus. Once the raw work is done, the polish state calls for attention to detail as you refine, edit, and enhance what's been created. Administrate involves handling the practical, logistical elements, emails, scheduling, and other necessary but less creative tasks. Finally, recharge is a mental state that's often overlooked but essential. It's about rest and recovery, which replenish your creative energy and restore clarity. To get the most out of these mental states, it's crucial to shape your environment accordingly. Create a quiet, distraction-free zone for generating and polishing. On the other hand, if you're exploring ideas, a stimulating or social environment may be more productive. By matching your task to your mental state and shaping your surroundings to support that state, you can work with your mind instead of against it, unlocking a smoother and more satisfying creative flow. Chapter 5. Ride the creative rhythm. Creative work isn't fueled by brute force. It thrives on rhythm. Unlike mechanical tasks that can be tackled with consistent, linear effort, creativity operates in cycles of intense focus and necessary release. Recognizing and working with these natural rhythms is key to maintaining high-quality output without burning out. David Kadavy introduces the concept of creative cycles as a powerful framework for managing energy and output. These cycles are not rigid schedules, but organic patterns of mental engagement and recovery that, when understood and respected, can drastically improve your productivity. Throughout a day, your mental energy naturally peaks and dips. Identifying those high-energy periods allows you to schedule demanding creative tasks, like writing, brainstorming, or designing, when your mind is freshest. Conversely, during lower-energy moments, it's more effective to focus on administrative work, review tasks, or simply rest. Zooming out, Kadavy also suggests structuring your week with intentional diversity. Allocate specific days to specific types of work. For example, one day for deep creative production, another for planning or meetings. This helps you harness consistency while avoiding mental fatigue from switching gears too frequently. The same principle applies at a larger scale, too. Use months or seasons to tackle major projects, allowing space for both intensive focus and deliberate periods of rest. A crucial part of these cycles is incubation, the practice of letting go of a problem so your subconscious can continue processing it in the background. Taking walks, sleeping, or even doing something completely unrelated can spark breakthroughs that focused effort might not. By stepping away, you invite insight. Ultimately, Kadavy's approach to creative cycles encourages you to stop fighting your mind's natural ebb and flow. Instead, use it as a compass. When you align your work with your energy, rather than against it, you stop burning out and start creating more freely and more sustainably. Chapter 6: Building Creative Systems for Reliable Output. Creativity often gets romanticized as spontaneous bursts of brilliance, but the reality is that consistent creative production depends on structure. In this chapter, David Kadavy presents a pragmatic approach to creativity, not as a chaotic scramble for inspiration, but as a system you can build and refine over time. At the heart of this approach are creative systems, processes that take ideas from conception to execution in a repeatable way. The first step is to develop what Kadavy calls sloppy operating procedures. These aren't rigid checklists, but flexible guidelines, living documents that evolve with you. They help you recognize what works in your process and replicate it, while still allowing space for experimentation and iteration. To prevent overwhelm and procrastination, Kadavy introduces the concept of the minimum creative dose. Large projects often feel intimidating, but when broken into the smallest possible tasks, they become manageable and far easier to begin. A few focused minutes of writing or sketching can trigger momentum, turning hesitation into progress. The key is starting with a task so small you can't talk yourself out of doing it. Finally, Kadavy offers the idea of a creative cascade, a system of inboxes for collecting and sorting ideas. This begins with a primary inbox, like a notebook or voice memo app, where thoughts are captured on the fly. These raw ideas are then reviewed and funneled into more specific project inboxes, ready to be processed when the time is right. During dedicated creative sessions, you don't have to wonder what to work on. The ideas are already waiting. By creating systems that capture ideas, reduce friction, and support sustainable progress, you shift from depending on fleeting motivation to building dependable creative habits. In doing so, your creative output becomes not only more prolific, but more intentional and satisfying. Chapter 7: Thrive in Chaos. In a world where unpredictability is inevitable, the most effective creative minds are not those who resist chaos, but those who use it. David Kadavy's final chapter reveals that the key to long-term creative success isn't perfect order, it's anti-fragility, the ability to adapt, evolve, and grow stronger in the face of disruption. Rather than trying to engineer a flawless system that breaks down at the first sign of trouble, Kadavy encourages us to embrace flexibility. Chaos isn't an exception to the creative process, it's part of it. Life's interruptions, schedule changes, or unexpected emotions can all become sources of creative energy when we stop resisting them. By learning to recognize patterns in the unpredictability, we can turn moments of disarray into catalysts for insight. One practical strategy is to maintain a portfolio of projects at different stages. When your mental energy isn't right for deep creation, you can shift your focus to polishing an existing idea or collecting inspiration for the next one. Likewise, by developing a diverse toolkit of creative skills, writing, sketching, outlining, editing, you remain nimble and capable of producing no matter the conditions. Kadavy also emphasizes the importance of capturing thoughts even when things feel out of control. Whether through analog tools or digital backups, building redundant systems ensures that valuable insights aren't lost in the noise of daily life. And above all, he advocates for training yourself to work in varied environments. So whether you're in your ideal workspace or a noisy cafe, you can still find your rhythm. Creativity that thrives only under ideal circumstances is fragile. But creativity that learns to bend with uncertainty not only survives, it flourishes. And think better, create more. Mind management, not time management, leaves us with a transformative reminder. Productivity isn't just about cramming more into the day. It's about aligning our creative energy with how our minds naturally work. David Kadavy gives us more than hacks or routines. He delivers a framework that honors the non-linear human nature of creative work. It's a book that empowers you to stop forcing productivity through rigid schedules and start unlocking it by working with, not against, your brain. What stood out most to me was the idea that rest, reflection, and even chaos aren't interruptions to the process. They are the process. When we stop obsessing over time and begin managing our mental states instead, we not only produce better work, we live more intentionally. We learn to trust our cycles, capture our ideas, and let spontaneity play a role in shaping the work we're meant to create. If this video sparked new ways of thinking about how you manage your work or yourself, please support us with a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to keep the momentum going. And let's talk about it in the comments. What shift are you ready to make in your creative process? What mind management strategy resonated with you most? If you'd like to go deeper into the full book, you'll find a link in the video description to purchase Mind Management, Not Time Management, in multiple languages. You'll also find more inspiring summaries to guide your growth, one creative moment at a time.